We all go through life experiences that teach us one or two lessons. Going through stuff that influence how you behave as an adult in the negative is something everyone does not wish for or even imagine. Now, we want to talk about childhood traumas today, and I would like to focus on how childhood traumas shaped how I behave as far as dressing is concerned. And by the way, happy Girlfriend's Day. Today is 1st of August and we celebrate the girl relationship, women, friendships and relationship. And we get to appreciate the women in our lives who change our lives in a positive way, okay? Childhood trauma is defined as the experience of single or multiple events by a child that is emotionally painful and stressful, which results to detrimental physical and mental damage, often making you very, very pessimistic in this life, okay? So here are some of the childhood stuff that I went through or you may have gone through, which influences how you dress today, okay? I have put them in a series, so today's video will just feature how my childhood dressing traumas affected how I dress today and how I explore my fashion trends. Yeah, so number one, dressing to conform. Growing up as a child in my father's house meant no wearing trousers as a girl. We are church people. My dad is a pastor. So the church had taught them trousers are for just the boy child, their male attires, and you should never wear such. It was just considered an ungodly and indecent way of dressing. So I went home sometimes last year and I was dressed in jeans for a family function. I know, right? Sorry, I no longer go for the kitenges or the suits or you see those maxi dresses as I'm going home, because I chose to be authentic after I started questioning the rules that were set to control everything I did as a young adult, okay? So when the function ended, it ended very late, and so I had to sleep at my mother's, my folks. So thankfully I had a spare dress because I figured tomorrow is a Sunday, I might need to go to church if this function ends late. So before dressing up, I remember after we took breakfast, and then Dad was there asking me, did you carry any spare dress? And I was like, oh, you're still going to wear the jeans. He repeated, and the way he said it was of course to ridicule the way I was dressed in jeans. But I was wondering, what's wrong with jeans? That's what I wear every day, and no one really asked. But I could feel the ridicule in his sound, like he was not pleased with it, and I was just surprised. They were decent. They were not even ragged. So I let that one slide. So it gets to a point where a parent cannot make the dressing choices for you. How wonderful, eh? But it still hurts them how you cannot dress as per their rules. You see, in our home, even if it was so cold and chilly, like how you could not wear a trouser. And I remember when I went to campus, I always wore skirts and dresses, and I only had one or two trousers which I could sleep in. Which I could sleep in, because again it was so cold, so sleeping in a night dress, so I could wear a trouser. And I know this sounds weird in the current world, but I really suffered. I remember there was a time we went for a trip in Lord Egerton, and that place is so cold, guys. So I was there in a trouser. I had to sleep next to the bonfire. That day I did not sleep because it was so cold and I could not sleep in a tent in the kind of dressing that I was in. So sometimes it really hurts them that we cannot dress as per rules, but also now I had set myself free. So one of my childhood traumas was just dressing to conform, and basically that's what I'm talking about. My best friend was raised in the capital city of Kenya, that is Nairobi. when she came to the countryside, she would rock jeans, night trousers, and any clothes that was deemed comfortable for traveling, and the weather too. You see, my place gets so hot sometimes, and you see now you have, because according to the rules and everything, we had to cover up and everything, so you could not just dress the way you want. So on the other hand, I was here freezing in the cold in my skinny dress or skirt. By the way, I always fought with mom over this, because she forced me to put on a leso. Those who are from Kenya, they know what is a leso, and it was in my vibe. So because I was a bit skinny, I wore fitting clothes and everything, and we were fighting with mom over that, because now she wanted me to cover up before my father. You know, those respectful things that we expected to do in the countryside. So additionally, I would rock covering dresses and tops in the hot weather countryside in Yatta. That is my place in Machakos. So why did they not teach me how to dress comfortably for the weather? In the spirit of elegance in women, I do not support wearing revealing clothes, and I vote for decency but not oppressional dressing. Okay, so when you go to the countries where they experience very hot summer seasons, in my country we are usually moderate. The cold does not go to the extremes, and also the heat can go to extremes. So sometimes you have to cover up everything and you're suffering because of the cold. So that's what I'm basically talking about. So I cannot blame my folks, because they did their best, and that's how life was supposed to be for them. But you see, their actions now traumatized me. They did their best, the best they could know at that time. You see, they are the boomers generation. So some boomers and even some people in the current generation, especially those who are in the countryside, believe that if you dress indecently, you trigger men to sexually assault you. You see, so this is a conversation I will not wish to start, but it can never end, I know, if we start. So I struggle to dress up in kitenges and suits at work also. I experienced these traumas also. They haunted me when I was working. So I would put up kitenges and suits and work for enemy street and work. And I remember men who are looking to marry me and everything, most of them will be impressed by how I dressed. And you see, we say you dress how you want to be addressed. So if you meet me at work, I'm very decently dressed. But the moment I was mistreated at work, there was that rebellious me that was triggered, and it came out. That means I associated short skirts and some skinny dresses and everything, and skirts, with bringing out that side, that rebellious side of me. You get it? So when I'm in good terms with the administration and everything, I don't have to prove. So I dress very well. But when the head teacher crosses me, now I could, to counter that or to make a statement, I could dress like that, and then I wear very high heels, and then I'll walk like, and I was teaching in a boys school, sorry. Most of the time I'll teach in a lab coat, but you know, sometimes when you are outside class, you're not in that lab coat. So for them, I was an hero. To the boys, sometimes I could be an hero when I dressed that side, because I was just unleashing a side of me which was not there. So on those days, I could unleash a Sanaipeitande. They called me that in high school, by the way. And I know you guys in Kenya know Sanaipeitande. So there are some girls who called me Sanaipeitande. I was very skinny. Yeah, I was very skinny, and when I was walking like I'm catwalking, lol. I know, lol. Yeah, so they gave me that nickname. That meant I could wear there are now the good days when I could just wear long flowery skirts and dresses and everything, and heels. So that time I'm the most decent girl. Those are my good days, when I don't have to prove any point, but I just want to stand out. You see this crisis in girls and everything when you're growing up. Yeah, so again, I could just the boys will ask me, now, madam, now that you're dressed that way, why can't you just start your modeling career? Okay, I'm not tall. I actually don't know my actual height, but the moment I rock high heels and I walked like that, honestly, I could be a model. So with dressing, I've realized that you cannot, when you're average in dressing, you're mediocre. It's like wearing a skirt which is just on your knees or above your knees kidogo, or just touching almost your ankle, but any skirt which is in between there, it's average, and I consider it like dressing is basically when you dress something which is in between there, it's basically mediocre. That's what I usually consider it. Like, yeah, it's mediocre for me. That's how I look at it. So you need to go to the extremes when you're looking for elegance, like you dress so well that such that you stand out, or you just dress in another way whereby you stand out in the other negative way. So it is always good to make a statement when you are dressing, and that statement does not come easily. So how did now that dressing trauma affect my life? Number one, it affected me as a mother, honestly, as a mother. So when I gave birth to my daughter, I only dressed her in trousers. I remember the first day I got a dress, I got her a dress, she was like 3 years old. I had a few dresses for her, but rarely did I put them on her. Yeah, so mostly we were just wearing trousers, tights and everything, because number one, the place I was in is cold, and number two, I didn't just want her to be in a position where she will not be comfortable wearing dresses. So it is good, it will be good and bad for her at the same time, if I project traumas on me. So that's why I tried. After some time, now she was around 3 years, I started getting her dresses, and then when she was like 5 plus, I started getting, she demanded now for skirts, and I started buying skirts for her. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Like, I was projecting my childhood traumas on dressing on her, whereby I just made sure that the dress code was only trousers, which was wrong. But after some time, I woke up from that slumber and I got her dresses and skirts, and she really likes it. Sometimes I find her modeling in her room and I am amazed. Number two, it also affected me as an individual. Okay, yeah, so I didn't want, like, as a mother, I didn't want my daughter to experience cold weather harshly because of how I dressed her, or hot weather harshly on how I dressed her. Number two, it affected me as an individual. I always enjoy fashion trends, but it's always so hard for me to join the trend. I bought my daughter a crop top one day, I think it was last year, but she could not wear it. And if she did, she covered herself up because all she sees is me covering myself up and everything. See how I've projected, that is how I've projected traumas on her. So it is good and bad on her at the same time. So I'm longing for her teenage years so that I can see how she will experience this stage of her life, okay? Yeah, number three, this trauma survived dress also affected my how I interact with my friends. So every time I meet a friend dressed in a certain way, I wish to be like them. I admire their courage to explore, which I lacked, and even today I lack. I've been trying to buy the tracksuits which have the crop top idea or element in it, but I'm just here because I believe in covering up. Also, there is a part of me which wants to explore, and I think I'll do that before I get very old. So it is good and bad. Looking at, no, it's not really good and bad. I admire their courage. So for me, I dress average. It's never too late to try new stuff. I'm about to wear my courage and the courageous shoes now, LOL, and now start doing that. So what's the solution, or can I just say the conclusion to my video today, or podcast, wherever you are listening this from? So no one prepares you for the shock you are about to experience when you're exploring fashion. Dressing decently helps people address you well, but when on vacation or out partying, do not hesitate to try something new. Rock that crop top, rock that short baby girl, dress for the weather. For as long as you honor God in all you do, experiment, try new stuff, try makeup, try ragged jeans. And as a parent, all you can do is bringing up your child in godly ways. Rebuke them with gentleness. Explain to them how making good choices is important, but do not manipulate them to doing what you want, okay? Guide them and let them decide. Also, be the role model they wished for. Be a gentle parent. Try to understand their point of view, because generation gap is real. Okay, my daughter looks at me and she tells you, Mom, you are not smart, you're not getting this. And I'm looking at her, are you not remembering that I gave birth to you? You know, but it's life. They know more and a lot than we did when we were that young, and also they know a lot than we do even today. So thank you so much for watching my sweet video. Comment down below on your views. What are some of your childhood dressing traumas? I would really love to know. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.